What would you do if you woke up one day, opened your eyes, and realized that you can't see anything no more?
Michelle has been living blindfolded for 10 years. Her parents told her that the girl has a rare illness. They protected her and do not let her out of the house. But one day, Michelle finds the key to her blindfold and finds out terrible truth that has been hiding from her whole life.
Was that a miraculous healing? Or had my parents deceived me for all of my life?
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Asher Show. I thought I would keep it nice and light today. No heavy stories, no bad news. Just some good old-fashioned real stories animated, because that always puts a smile on my face hearing these ridiculous stories. And what do we have today?
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm 15 years old. What would you do if you woke up one day, opened your eyes, and realized that you can't see anything no more?
Can't see anything no more. So far, so good. So she's saying that she woke up blind. But let's read the title here, because we shouldn't feel that bad. My mom has been lying to me for 10 years that I'm blind until I found out the truth. How is that even possible? How can your mom lie to you like that? Does she wake up every morning and cover your eyes for you? Oh, you're blind. I'm starting to love these storytime animation videos. They're fantastic. Every day my dad drugged my food so I couldn't remember what he's been doing to me. It's like out of a movie. I know he's watching me, but I continue to do this. Oof, I gotta watch some of these maybe later on. Well, let's continue with my mom has been lying to me for 10 years.
My father spent most of his time at work, so all day I was only with my mother. She did not leave me for a minute.
This is some really good animation so far. If you look at the proportions of this mother, her torso, her leg, like how is the bottom half of her body so big?
All corners of the furniture in our house were covered with special foam rubber, and the floor was covered with soft, fluffy carpets. And there was no question of playing in the garden. I spent much time looking out of the window at the swing in the yard, but Mom was categorical. My only way to get a breath of freedom was when Mom fell asleep. She slept very firmly, and in the future, it played a cruel joke with her.
Ooh, we got some foreshadowing, huh? Interesting. So basically, this girl is saying that her mom is super protective. There's foam things underneath everything in the house. They have a garden, but she can't play in the garden. I knew someone like this, actually. Like, her parents were so strict that she couldn't even use a fork or knife to eat anything. She had to use spoons. There were no scissors in the house because they thought it was too dangerous. And she was 18 years old.
Once, on my 4th birthday, when both Mom and Dad were at home preparing gifts for me, I noticed that the front door was opened. That was my chance. So I just ran out into the street and immediately ran to the swing. It turned out that they were higher than I could reach, but I managed to climb on them.
What on earth is happening here? This 4-year-old sees the door cracked open and she escapes like she's escaping Guantanamo Bay. Sweet freedom! She runs to the swings. How long did she swing before her mom caught her? Because she's making it seem like she was swinging all day.
That was a mistake. I fell and it darkened in my eyes. I remember this day in such details because it was the last day I could see. When I woke up, it was very dark. Later, my mother said that I asked her to turn on the light. She burst into tears and said that the light was already on, and I did not see anything because I was blind after the blow.
Oh snap, it's getting serious now. She had a swing accident. Obviously, she doesn't know how to use the swings because she's never used them before. She hit her head and now she's supposedly blind. But how did the mom lie about this?
Mom said that I have a rare disease of the lens of the eye, heltatitis. It has not been studied much, and therefore no medicine exists for it. This is a congenital disease, but it intensified after a strong blow. Mom said that the eyes during this illness are very weak, and even the slightest draft or a drop in temperature can cause severe inflammation, and I can lose my sight forever.
That's an intense condition, but let's do some research here. What does she call it? Helatitis. Nothing's coming up. Only hepatitis is coming up. Does this not exist? Oh, Mom, you liar.
According to the parents, this process can be taken under control. They bought a special blindfold, which was very tight to the eyes and in such a way maintained the same temperature.
This is the most elaborate lie I have ever seen. The mom buys her daughter a VR headset and is like, keep this on. That way your eyes won't swell up. Look at her, she's walking around like she's playing VR chat.
My parents made a room for me in our basement and equipped it with special sensors that responded to my voice. No matter how I asked to go out, they did not listen to me. I begged, at least for half an hour, but my parents over and over again said categorically no.
Sounds like the plot of an evil fairy tale. They're keeping this girl captive, blindfolded. She can't go outside and play, but at least she's indoors. She's eating sweet treats and she's getting free dresses every month. How could it get any worse than this?
If I were in the room above, not in the basement, I would try to escape. But here I had no chance. Moreover, the room was locked with 2 locks.
Whoa, now she's locked inside of her room with 2 locks? How is she gonna go anywhere? These guys are evil. It's actually Rapunzel on the 2nd floor of a tower.
I got older, but nothing changed. The same gourmet food, new dresses every month, studying in the format of audio lessons. I was sure that I was ready to go out because I wouldn't sit in this basement until the end of my life. I turned 14, and I felt that it was time to get out into the big world.
This can't be true. She wasn't in here for 10 years. She didn't go to school. She was learning things off of like her online programs, Jake Paul's online school.
I decided to act differently and began to prepare an escape plan. All I needed was a key, but Mom was too careful and never left it in the room when she was gone. Therefore, I persuaded my mother to stay with me. I said that for several days in a row I had bad dreams, and I want her to be near.
She's 14 years old and she's getting smart. Remember there was some foreshadowing at the beginning of the video saying, my mom is a heavy sleeper and that's going to be your downfall. Now it's coming into play.
So when my mother fell asleep, firmly as usual, I got out of bed without problems, without waking her, and began to look for keys. I managed to find a bunch of keys with a massive keychain. There were several keys, and among them one stood out, one very small. I immediately understood what it was for.
Yeah.
Mom was sleeping nearby. I heard her breathing. My hands were trembling, but I managed to...
Oh, geez, she didn't say this part of the story. This entire time I was thinking to myself, why doesn't she take off her VR headset? It's because there's a lock on the back of it? Are you kidding me? She not only locked her daughter in the room, but she locked the VR headset?
My hands were trembling, but I managed to unlock the blindfold, and I immediately covered my mouth with my hands so as not to cry out. Although the room was dark enough, but I saw a glow from a small rectangular screen on the bedside table near the bed, and along the walls there was a soft light. I didn't have time to look through the rest. Even from such a weak amount of light, I felt a strong pressure in my eyes. I quickly snapped the blindfold.
A girl that didn't go to school was homeschooled only by Jake Paul's online programs. I am surprised that she is so smart. She's devious. She figures out that she wasn't blind. And instead of just running out of the house, she's like, okay, no. My eyes need to adjust. It's been 10 years that I've seen sunlight. One day at a time, I'm going to do this.
The plan was born in my head very quickly. I only needed a few days. Within 3 days, I will remove the blindfold so that my eyes could slowly get used to the light.
As soon as my eyes adjust, I'm going to steal my mom's keys, and then I'm going to escape onto the street and play on the swings.
First of all, I would try to get to the hospital myself and find out what was wrong with me. Was that a miraculous healing, or had my parents deceived me for all of my life?
Why wouldn't you call the police? You had that glowing phone right there in the corner. Just be like, yo, police, I've been held captive for 10 years. But then again, no one's going to believe a 14-year-old.
In the first 3 days, everything really went according to the plan.
Right.
Mom stayed with me at night, and I tried to get used to the weak light. There was no time left. I took the keychain, opened the door, and left the basement. I remembered well the location of everything in the house, and the heightened sense of space helped me quickly find the front door.
Some ways I think this is insane. This can't be true. But there are small details in this story that are just fascinating. That because she was blind, she hasn't seen her house in a long time, but because of her spatial awareness, she kind of knows where the front door is.
I went outside for the first time in 10 years.
Here we go.
It was still dark, and it
Obviously.
was just the beginning of the dawn. But the first rays of the sun literally burned my eyes. It was an incredible pain. My eyes began to water heavily. But inside, I rejoiced.
What time is it? The sun just rose. It's like 7 a.m. and there's people staring at you from across the street.
I asked to be taken to the hospital. He took out a rectangular thing. There must be a phone that my mother told me about, and then dictated the address into it. I don't know how it happened, but I told him everything.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. She doesn't know what a phone is? She was 4 years old before she went blind. Of course she knows what a phone is. Phones weren't invented in the 10 years that you were blind. Or were they?
He asked me to spell my diagnosis, and then he said that such a disease does not exist.
I told you. I did the research. It doesn't exist. Oh, this red-hatted man, he's a lifesaver.
A police car arrived very soon.
Yeah.
A tall man in the uniform asked my name and asked where I live. Another woman arrived, as I later found out, a psychologist, because I was a minor. We went to the police station. I dictated the names of my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Blake's. I named their dates of birth.
What child knows their mom's date of birth? I have no idea how old my parents are. Do you?
I heard a policeman tell his partner that these people had never had children. He said that they tried to adopt a child 15 years ago.
What?
But they were refused because they were being treated in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh my goodness. This is shocking.
That these people had never had children. He said that they tried to adopt a child 15 years ago, but they were refused because they were being treated in a psychiatric hospital. I could not believe what I heard. Would you believe it?
No, of course not. So this child was stolen from another family, essentially? And these parents, the people that she thought that were her parents, that were keeping her captive, they were actually two mental patients?
I tried to cope with the shock, and then my parents came into the office.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, those people whom I considered so.
Exactly.
They admitted everything. It turned out that they took me from the yard, from some large family from a neighboring state.
What is happening in America? You know this is in America. This isn't, people aren't stealing kids in Canada. A neighboring state.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. Mom and Dad cried and repeated that they loved me more than anything and would never hurt me. That they just wanted to protect.
I will spat out my tea. They wouldn't hurt her. They kept her captive for 10 years. She's gonna be traumatized for life.
A few days later, I was taken to my real parents. It would be better if that did not happen.
Uh-oh.
My family was a couple of alcoholics who
Oh,
had
no.
4 sons. And the worst thing was that they did not even remember that 15 years ago they had a daughter.
Oh, come on. Your real parents are alcoholics? No way. The crazy parents who stole her took her because she was sitting for days in a stroller. And when she's reunited with her parents, who were apparently alcoholics, they didn't even remember they had another child. This is a roller coaster ride of emotions. This is probably the best video I've ever seen in my entire life.
They drank all day long, and the children screamed, fought, asked for food and money. In those rare days when the mother nevertheless was cooking, the food was disgusting, but I had no choice. I was constantly hungry. And of course, I really missed my mom and dad who raised me.
That is what you call Stockholm. She was held captive for years. But because the parents were nice to her, they gave her gifts and pancakes every morning. She grew to love them. Holy smoke. This is the worst childhood I've ever seen. She's 14 years old and now she's living with alcoholic parents.
After several weeks of such a life, I complained to social services.
Yes,
And I
finally.
was sent to a shelter. That's where I am now. Yes, I know now what the internet is, what life with eyes is, but I understand that this is a crazy idea, but I agree to become blind again just to feel the love of other people.
No, there's no way she said that. The title sounds a bit like The Act. What's The Act? Oh, the TV show? Dee Dee is overprotective of her daughter Gypsy, who is trying to escape the toxic relationship she was with her mother. Gypsy's quest for independence opens up a Pandora's box of secrets. What? I gotta watch this show. And it's starring Joey King. I love Joey King. Why would they have a playground but not let her play in it? I know. It's like a tease. I appreciate how her parents treated her like their own daughter, giving what she needed and always there. But one thing I don't appreciate about them is that they kept her. And the worst part is, I hate her real family. This person is really going at it. Just go back to your parents, the people who raised you. They're probably in jail. Can blind people even have dreams? Shoot. This guy's asking the hard questions. This is my favorite part, the part about all the delicious dishes he eats.
And also, I was pampered with the most delicious dishes.
Delicious dishes? Spaghetti bolognese, pancakes, waffles, whatever the heck this is. Cake, a full turkey, and some molding sponges. I feel good now. How do you guys feel about that story? Leave me a comment down below. Thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Maybe I'll watch some more real story animated videos because I want to know what happened about this girl who got drugged.
I'm Monica, and I'm 16 years old. How well do you know the ones you live under the same roof with? Most importantly, what are they doing while you are sleeping? I trusted relatives so much that I had to pay for it with my health and happiness.
What an intro. Don't forget to follow the socials, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new video. Peace.